Today, I want to tell you about a living experiment. An experiment that is as interesting as it is surprising, one that arouses curiosity and brings many questions with it. Imagine a plant living inside a glass container. It has survived for more than 60 years without being watered or receiving any external intervention. This is not science fiction. It is part of a real experiment. This experiment, started in 1960 by biology enthusiast David Latimer, provided a unique opportunity to understand how closed ecosystems function. So, why did Latimer conduct this experiment? And how was this ecosystem able to sustain itself? David Latimer was a man curious about science. He was not a biology professor, but thanks to his interest in nature and science, he carried out this unique experiment. In 1960, he found an old glass water jug and had an intriguing idea. Can I create a self-sustaining world inside this container? Latimer placed some soil inside the glass container, along with a hardy plant called spiderwort, Tradescantia, and added a bit of water. Then, he sealed the container and placed it in a spot where it could receive sunlight. This experiment, which seemed simple at first, would last far longer than he expected. How does a closed ecosystem survive? This experiment is based on fundamental scientific principles that help us understand the cycle of life in nature. Let's examine how this system works. Plants perform photosynthesis, converting sunlight into energy while absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. The plant in Latimer's container managed to sustain this cycle without external oxygen. Plants also respire, using oxygen to generate energy while releasing carbon dioxide. This cycle helped maintain the balance of the ecosystem. The water inside the bottle evaporates through transpiration, condenses on the glass surface, and drips back into the soil, eliminating the need for external watering. Microorganisms in the soil break down fallen leaves, recycling nutrients that the plant can use again, ensuring a continuous cycle of life. Similar ecosystems and comparisons. Latimer's container was essentially a small replica of nature. But such self-sustaining ecosystems are not just found inside glass containers. They also exist in different parts of the world. Take the Amazon rainforest, for example. For thousands of years, it has remained almost isolated from the outside world, maintaining its own water and nutrient cycles. Just like the plant inside the container, trees in the Amazon produce oxygen, regulate the water cycle, and support life through microorganisms. We have also tried to create such systems artificially. In 1991, scientists launched a project called Biosphere 2. The goal was to create a completely isolated ecosystem independent from Earth. However, oxygen levels dropped. Maintaining balance proved difficult, and the experiment failed. In other words, replicating nature's perfect functioning was not as easy as it seemed. What about space? If we want to travel to Mars and establish a colony there, we will need self-sustaining ecosystems. That's why NASA is conducting experiments on growing plants in closed systems. Latimer's glass container might be one of the simplest yet most fascinating inspirations for understanding how humanity could survive on other planets in the future. What was the result of the experiment? In 1972, Latimer added water to the container for the last time, and since then, the system has sustained itself. Over the years, the plant grew, died, sprouted again, and maintained its balance. This experiment demonstrates how fragile yet resilient natural ecosystems can be. Even today, this small ecosystem continues to attract great interest in the scientific community. Are we also living in a glass container? David Latimer's experiment is not just the story of a plant living inside a glass container. It is also a metaphor for our planet. Just like the ecosystem inside the container, our world is a closed system, protected by the atmosphere and operating within its own cycles. So, will we be able to continue living without disrupting the balance of this great glass container?